more podcasters I talk to, the more I realize that the foundations of your podcast are the number one reason why you are pod fading out, because you're not seeing the growth. You're not seeing the money come back. You're just staying stagnant. And there's a common theme I see every time I do a podcast audit, have another mastermind, somebody comes and asks me, there are some critical errors that are being made in the setup of the podcast. I'm all for launching messy and figuring it out as you go and then niching down and correcting. But I think what happens is before you niche down, before you correct, before you course change, you fade out. And that is so sad because your message deserves a legacy platform. So today I want to talk about how to do your own mini podcast audit without the overwhelm so that you can do these easy peasy lemon squeezy changes and get your show growing. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. Hello, and welcome back. Cheers to being here because you are committed to not being part of the 75% or more podcasts that fail, that fade out, that don't make it past 7 episodes, 30 episodes, and just give up before the going gets good. So today I want to walk you through some of the foundational areas that you need to look at for your podcast and tell you what I think is important, why I think it's important, and where you miss the mark. So first, we have to talk about podcast searchability. First and foremost, it's crap. So you've got to use the areas that are searchable super well, meaning you've got to know what your audience is typing in. Yes, this is SEO, but you really have to go a level deeper and know the exact words your specific person is searching. What happens is that there's two things that happen in this SEO research and this foundational piece of setting up your podcast. Number one, people get so stuck in the foundations that they never launch their podcast. Number two, they launch messy and then they never go back and fix the foundations. For me, I'm all for launching messy and then fixing the foundations. Because if you launch with a wide range topic, so something that isn't niche down, what happens is as you go over time, your niche will stand out. And what you've done is you've got those infamous first 5 to 10 episodes that were all in learning curve. They all sound like crap. Go back to the big guys. Their first 10 episodes probably sound like garbage. It's really your time to figure out this new platform. It's testing the waters. It's feeling the different things that are working and not working. And that's why for me, when people come to me, I try to help with basic foundations, get us launched, and then as they go, start niching down. The other way that people can do this is you can base it off of a program or a course or coaching or service that you already have. But what I find is that people are fading out because they get so stuck in this. It will come. Give it time. It will come. It will niche down and niche down. This podcast is about 7 months old and has had 3 names, and we just keep getting more niched. Now I'm talking to you guys that have made it to episode 7, 10, 14, and you're thinking about throwing in the towel because you're not seeing that organic growth. You're not seeing the revenue come in. You're not seeing what you desire, so you're thinking of giving up and you don't want to, so you're here with me. So when we start thinking about this, if you are a person who's launched messy and you need to clean it up, or if you're a person that's ready to launch, which congratulations for coming to the show and knowing you don't want to be part of this crew of the podcast faders, I'm happy for you. So let's talk about where you need to look at your show. So when you're first performing an audit, there's some critical places you need to look at. One is your show name. And this one is really hard for me, and I will never change the name of my other show, ever. There's no way. It will always be Feed Your Business with Love. It's not searchable, but I make sure that my other areas are uber searchable. Is that even a word? I make up my own stuff here, but I make sure that all my other areas of searchability have those keywords, have the things in there, have the questions. So in your show title, make sure that when somebody comes to your show, they're able to see that this is for them. This isn't the Jennifer Dragonette show. Nobody knows me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares who I am. But you might be searching Podfade, so that's how you found me. You've got to be clear. If you're going to use your name, make sure that you put a tagline in that title name so that people know that you're what they're there for. You don't buy a book that has just the author's name on the front of it and not know what's inside the book. Think about that as your title, as your cover page on a book, as the jacket on your book, basically, is important. So make sure that is crystal clear. The second place is I see people just shove in so many things, keyword stuff, or worse, just leave behind the show description or put something so vague. In that show description, you need to have your keywords. I also recommend writing 3 to 5 questions that you might answer. Again, this helps with your searchability. If somebody types in that specific question, you will pop up. The third place is episodes, the episode title name. This is one of the problems that I see all the time. One of the biggest problems that I had was your episodes don't make sense. They're cutesy. They aren't what somebody's searching. This is where I want you to spend time. If you do nothing else, this is where I want you to start spending time. Think about the specific question that somebody is typing in that can answer that episode answers. Think about that certain thing that they want to learn about, how that can answer the question. The more specific you are with the words, again, this is why I say let your show unfold and don't focus too much on the beginning. You should have some foundations, but it will keep unfolding, is because you'll get to know the actual words that your people are using. Nobody's using Podfade. Nobody searched for monetized. I learned with this show that most of you are searching how to make money from your podcast, how to grow your podcast, how to grow your audience. Those weren't the words I was using in the beginning, and that's okay. But you can always go back and clean them up. So the first part of your audit, I want you to look at your show name, your show description, and your episode titles. Those are the biggest places for searchability. Yes, with Google Podcasts and some of the other players, your actual show notes can be helpful, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed in those. If you have those 3 set up and your podcast image makes sense for that person to stop and listen, and they're like, oh, look, I've come to the show. I've come to Jen's show, The Cure for Podfade. Oh, look, it's a cure for Podfade. It's resuscitating my business and my inner fire. Yes, the show is for me. You have to look at your podcast as a book, basically. A book that's sitting on a shelf. Will somebody pick up the book to read a chapter, to read a paragraph, to turn it over and read that back cover, which is your show description? And then do your chapters capture people? Again, these are all things. These are all those quick hits. We have 30 seconds or less, 3 seconds to capture them with the image and the title. Then maybe somebody will spend a minute looking around your show to see if it's something for them. Capitalize on that. So your show image, your show title, your show description, and your episode names. Make sure they are optimized so they tell people what they get inside and sticking around with you. So the next area I see is that people don't know how to podcast sell, or you sell too many things. Here's the thing, is that the more niche down your podcast is, the more likely you are to make money from your show. I know because I'm the same way. I love creating new things. I love being a jack of all trades. I love being able to have a bunch of different offers. But those people that taught me and showed me that having one core offer is like your ticket to that next level of success and freedom. It's so true. So think about your show. Think about, for me, this show, there's three opt-ins that you will hear on the show. One is the free CPR audit, which is that 30-minute strategy call with me. The second one is when I'm in launch mode and I have a boot camp coming out. That's a 5-day free CPR boot camp where we get clarity on your passion and your purpose with your people, and we figure out how to make revenue with your show. We talk about podcast selling, and then we have hot seat coaching. So when I'm in launch mode, you'll hear me, that be my call to action. And then the third one is on the occasion I will do a quick fire launch your podcast in 30 days as a group, a live launching. I will throw those in on occasion. But I stick to those three things. I have other things. I have things about art. I have all these different things, but you won't hear those on this show because it gets confusing. So all of my content is a derivative, is a small piece, that baby micro piece of my mastermind, of my one-on-one coaching, of my production companies. All of my stuff bases on that. I am serving you. I am giving you the baby steps forward. But if you want the next level, then of course that's you come in and we have an energetic exchange of your money for my time, and we go from there. And I feel that's one of the things that we fail to think about. We forget our why. We forget why we're doing this. If we are in business, our podcast needs to feed our business, not the other way around. So that is really how you want to do it. So in a nutshell, here's what you got to do. 1, know your why. 2, know your people. Get that title fixed. I know you're looking at it and you're cringing right now. Get it fixed. Show description with some keywords and full questions that your people might ask. Make sure if you're going to spend time on anywhere for SEO that it's on those episode titles. Make sure your cover graphic screams what your person is going to get from the show. And then think about, again, from your one offer, your one why. If you're in the launch mode, you can change these out via seasons, but think about what the end goal is and create content backwards that tells a story, that inspires, that drives people into that next level with you. And those are the areas that I see being the most common reasons why people fade out, is because you're not growing, you're not being found, you're not searchable, and you are not making money from your show. And it's just frustrating to put in this time and effort, because it does take time and effort. Podcasting is not just something that you magically, if you build it, they will come. It takes work. But if you want legacy content that comes back and gets you over and over and over again results, podcasting is for you. My other show, it's 3 years old. Episodes from over those 3 years ago are still getting hits and still feeding one of my other email lists that I don't even promote anymore. So that's just proof in the pudding. All right, that's what I have for you today. If you want me to actually do an audit on your podcast, on your business, and help you come up with a 30-day strategy plan, grab one of those podcast CPR audits. It's a free 30-minute coaching session with me. No sales, just coaching. Like what I do? Ask me how I can support you afterwards. But this is my gift to you because I truly want to be the cure for pod fade. So if you're looking for one of those, just go to podcastcpr.com. and I hope to see you there. So go out, make today amazing, because you are worthy, you are wonderful, and you deserve to be paid to be you. I'll see you next time.